you gotta fall in love with the process, man. Because
Right.
if you don't enjoy the process while it lasts, when you get there, then what next, man?
Sanbonani, Ausheni, Minjani. This is Silence, your guy at Loud the Silence. I'm happy, I'm present, I'm here today. I welcome you guys on our second episode. Friday evening with Amajita. We are here today. I'm present and I'm excited about the things, the content that we have for you as our audience, and we promise to deliver as we ought to. So today, I have my guest here, and before I introduce my guest, let me first thank Jackson Kruger, who is my co-fellow, and then they will introduce themselves as well, and then yeah.
Hi guys, it's your boy here, Jackson Kruger. I'm riding with my boy Silence, Mo and Matisse. What's up, guys? I'm great. I'm sure you're gonna have a great show today, but we'll see what it goes on.
Mulweni. This is U Martinez. Today I'm very excited about today, gents. I'm very excited about today. You know, the topics, the conversations that we're gonna have. I'm very excited. Let it be a good Friday. Let it be a nice Friday with Amajita. Oh,
Good evening. My name is Momelezi. I go by Mo. Like the other guests had already said, we're excited to be here, man. The conversation we're going to have is very exciting and open. It's enlightening. It's enlightening.
No, I thank you very much, guys. Today we're having a conversation, right? We are talking about a lot of things, and one of the common things that we're going to start with today is ethnocentrism. So, ethnocentrism and tribalism are kind of different, and today we are specifically focusing on ethnocentrism, whereby there's a concept here which I prepared. It's called consumer ethnocentrism. So consumer ethnocentrism, all in all, these are beliefs held by consumers about the appropriateness or morality, rather, of purchasing foreign-made products. Or on the other hand, it is the tendency of consumers' preference to their local brands and compared to foreign brands. So today we're talking about ethnocentrism on how is it a barrier to South African economic breakthrough. So there's this thing in South Africa where for an example, what is happening in KwaZulu-Natal. I love my Zulu guys. I love you so much. But today we're going to tie some nerve, and speak reality. You understand? So there's this thing in South Africa whereby we are, as much as we have so many languages, we are divided in such a way that it brings a barrier to South African economic development. So we're talking about those things. We can also include tribalism. We're talking about all of the things and how are those things a barrier into economic breakthrough. So let's just talk, guys. What do you guys have to say about ethnocentrism today? Okay, so my take on ethnocentrism is that we shouldn't, as South Africans, we shouldn't. Let me not speak about South African. Let me speak about individual tribes. We have 11 official languages in South Africa. In other words, we have 11 tribes in South Africa. So what is happening in South Africa is that when you are from, for an example, you are from, myself, I'm from Mpumalanga. I'm Tsonga biologically, so I'm Tsonga. So when I come to Cape Town, where it's dominated by Xhosa tribe, it's Xhosa, right? Whatever. This is what we talk about ethnocentrism. They've started already. So It's what? Not Tonga, it's Tonga. Okay, so yes, I think when as I was explaining that you are shifting from Pumalanga where you are used to Tonga culture, Tonga ways of doing things, Tonga ways of even approaching women, everything, Tonga ways of your views of the world. You see, when you grow up, you embody yourself with the view about how is the world based on how you were raised or where you are raised in terms of tradition, culture, and everything. So, culture or ethnicity plays a huge impact on how we see the world today. So, my take on that is that we should learn. Uh, we should learn to unlearn. We should learn to unlearn in such a way that when I say we should learn to unlearn, I'm referring to that I'm raised as a Tonga guy, right? So that Tonga ways of doing things. When I come to Cape Town, I have to understand that these are different people. I have to unlearn what I have been fed. I'm not abandoning them, but I'm opening up myself to understand that these are different people, these are different tribes. I must open up my mind and understand that this is South Africa, this is our country. I shouldn't bring the attitude of me being Tonga. If as a Tonga I was raised to stand up for myself, to be arrogant, something like that, I have to understand that other cultures are not raised like that. So I have to first open up myself to know their culture first, their attitude on how they see the world. That's what I mean by learning how to unlearn. Yes.
I'm very interested in. I want you to since you are Tsonga, ne? So I want you to just tell me about the Tsonga culture. You know, yes, just to know your, just to show, just to tell us, since Tina Singapore, we are not from Cape Town, we are not from Western Cape. I'm from Mthat, in the Eastern Cape, yabo. Because I feel like in this conversation, this is Ohamba Siambe, see on the similarities of these different tribes, yabo. So I think it's good that we first understand the the Tsonga culture,
Let me take that.
since we are raised different. So yeah.
Yeah. I think Jackson can take that since he's Tonga as well. He can take that, but to introduce them to the Tonga, to the Tonga tribe, to the Tonga ways of doing things, culture, and everything. Then I will add on that.
What I can say is being Tsonga is just nice. Just got to admit it. It's nice being Tsonga. You know that Xhosas dominate the Western Cape and the Eastern Cape, and Zulus dominate KwaZulu Natal and Joburg and Gauteng. But we Tsongas are everywhere. We're just around the corner, lurking in a door every step. But we don't go around claiming that our language is best or something. We just like being Tsonga. And I can say about being Tsonga as a favorite thing inside it. I can say I can understand majority of 5 languages. 5 languages. I can understand Xhosa, Zulu, Siswati, and Sotho. That's great about Tsonga. Because most of Tsonga languages consist of all the languages that are inside Tsonga. I can say someone use some parts from all the languages, but can't say that because I don't know it. But being Tsonga, it's freaking good, man. Freaking good.
So before you take that, ne, let me rather to add something about being Tonga, and we're not basing this on Tonga because it's okay. So the Tonga culture based all in all. Let me say this. Let me take you to the history of Tonga people. Where do we dominate, or where does the word Ugba Tonga it means? So Tsonga people are divided into two. There's what we call Amashangane, right? And Tsonga. So there's no different in that. It's just a division or ethnocentrism. Let's call ngayo. Yeah, but so Shangane kumbe Tsonga people, they evolve in KwaZulu Natal by nature. They are Zulus. So what happened is that in history there was a guy by the name of Soshangane. You understand? So Soshangane was rather a captain of Amabutu, or the Batin, the soldiers. Yes, yes. He was a captain. So what happened is when Soshangane was sent into war by the king Ushaka Zulu, he went that side of Mozambique. You see, because South Africa and Mozambique, they're kind of close to each other. And then there was a victory there. And when there was a victory there at the places like Gazankulu, places like that, and then also Shangane saw that the wealth is big, and he had people that they can start his own tribe. So he rebelled against the king Ushaka Zulu. He never actually betrayed the king. So he started the new tribe there. So that's how Amashangane, Amatsonga evolved from. So Tsonga or rather Amashangane, it's a mixture of many languages. That's why you can hear some of the Zulu words in Tsonga, because biologically we are Tsonga, but then when we evolved, we touched to, we moved to Limpopo. And in Limpopo, there are Pedis there, you understand? So we started to mix Shangane with Pedi. We started to mix things. So this is where we're coming from. So the ways of doing things and everything, it's a matter of we are raised with respect. That is the core thing. Respect in the sense of when you are talking to an elder, you have to, if you're wearing a cap, you have to take off your cap. You have to kneel down since you're talking to your elder, something like that. And according to culture, we don't have those things like going to Entabe and everything. We don't have it. But we do go to the hospital for circumcision and everything. So those are Tsonga ways of seeing the world.
So tell me about the circumcision part. So in the old in the mo- in the since now, there's this thing of going to the hospital, ne? Because I'm pretty sure maybe it's something that was brought up in recent years. So what I'm trying to know is the time of the that guy who betrayed the Amabuto guys, Soshaka Zulu. What were they doing before? Oh, Soshangan. What were they doing before? Do you understand?
Like you explained, but they're under the Zulus, so they followed what the Zulus are currently doing at the moment. I understand what you're saying in regards to the Tsonga people separating from the Zulus. Umamam ngumHlubi, mntakwethu. She's a Hlubi woman. Hlubis originate from KwaZulu. Like if you can listen to the way they speak, there's a bit of Zulu in it. Ngia, Mangi. That's how they speak. So I understand that. Going back to the topic at hand, hey, what is this? Ethnocentrism. Hey, my guy. Yeah, for me, man, I believe, but it can start off being a good thing, but it will lead to tribalism, which will later lead to xenophobia and stuff like that. So now, personally, I'm not really for ethnocentralism. You understand? It starts off good, but eventually it goes down that dark path. Because when we're talking about ethnocentrism, we're talking about Maxhoseni, for instance. Since Maxhoseni and the guy is Xhosa, I will, how can I put this? I want to align myself more towards that brand because I'm Xhosa. Eventually, that will lead to tribalism because we're going to start, we like comparing as people. We're going to say, oh man, this Xhosa brand is bigger than the Zulu brand. Don't play with me. And then the Zulu guys going to be like, yo man, yeah, the Zulu brand so is bigger than that. It starts off as a joke. And then later it leads off to what I don't want to say our forefathers, because it wasn't so long ago when the Xhosa people were fighting with the Zulu people, the Sothos. It wasn't so long ago. We do not want to go back to that life. For instance, we're sitting right here. There's Tsonga guys, there's a Xhosa, the Xhosa guy. I'm Tembu. You understand? I'm Tembu, right? Yeah. If we go down the path of ethnocentrism, as good as it sounds, exactly.
Hey, hello. Shout out to everyone who's here. My name is Kusha. No? My name is Kusha. And just to touch on what you're saying, man, I just feel like with ethnocentrism in particular, we shouldn't just look at it with a microscope in the sense of looking at it in the sense of which one originates from which tribe, because you have to also bear in mind that in South Africa we are what we call ourselves as the Rainbow Nation, right? So I believe with the 21st century and with us the younger ones now, we kind of broken those barriers whereby you see a white guy, for instance, you think, hey, now I have to treat him like he's my superior and everything. So if we take it as in the sense of taking South Africans as a whole and looking at them as someone like one tribe, in the sense of supporting each other and moving forward. Just like China, for instance, has done it. China has conquered the world by just appreciating their culture, appreciating themselves, for staying true to who they are and what they want to achieve. The end goal to be particular to be exact. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, you can, my guy.
I appreciate what you just said, but here's how China views themselves. They're not viewing themselves in the sense of there's a Chinese Zulu, there's a Chinese Xhosa. They look at themselves as Chinese. They're supporting a Chinese brand. You know, if we were to jump in and say, but we are supporting an African brand, I'm all for that.
Okay, no. I get what you're saying, and I do feel, just to add on what you're saying, I do feel like if we were to just end those barriers of having to divide ourselves into tribes and trying to just distinguishing ourselves from just removing this thing of saying to people, okay, fine, this one belongs to the Tongas, for instance. Like now, for instance, we're mixing cultures. If we were to use that and share ideas among ourselves, that would be our unique part. Because now, unlike the Chinese, which share almost maybe, let's say, one culture, to be exact, but when it comes to us, we have different cultures. If we were to share those ideas, imagine what could come out of that.
Yeah, I think you guys have said it all, man. You guys have said most of it. Yeah, well,
So, yeah, that's interesting, man. I like what Kushe said about the example of Chinese people. I think for South Africans, as we spoke about customer ethnocentrism, whereby customer ethnocentrism, okay, the word ethnocentrism, the concept on its own, it's not good, because when we speak of ethnocentrism, we speak of referring my own culture as a center of reference, and then taking other cultures for granted. But there can be a positive side of it. And what is that? It is what we call customer ethnocentrism. So customer ethnocentrism is whereby we regard our own local brands as worthy, taking ourselves back to Steve Biko, Black consciousness. You understand? Ogba, we have to understand that brands that are designed or rather formed in South Africa are okay, and actually they are good. You understand? We need to start seeing South Africa in that angle, and then things can start to get better. For an example, now, if I'm not sure where is All Star evolving. The origin of All Star is not a South African brand, but look at how we have embodied it to be our own. So All Star in South Africa will never lose its part. You understand?
but for instance, look at what Part is currently doing, and the Via brand, the new brands, man. Look at what they are doing, bro. Trip, two. Those are South African brands, And you know, what's the brand? Makhosa, yeah. So by that, I feel like it's a culture that we are currently starting. Like yeah, evolve. Yeah, it's
No,
slowly
no,
evolving.
no. The All Star, the All Star example. It was to show you the power of brand. Yes, the power of branding.
Great example, man. That also example. It's great. Look at it. If who's the owner of Batu? Yeah, Tio Baloi. Which ethnic group does he come from? Okay. Yeah. Now imagine if only Limpopian people that align with the person that he is, or let's say, for instance, how many tribes live in Limpopo? Apologies for being ignorant. I'm sorry. Ima- let's stop at three. Let's stop at that three. Imagine if he comes from a vendor tribe, and then the vendor people are like, simply because he's vendor, we're gonna support him. The petty people are like, he's vendor. What? We're not gonna do that. No, let's not look at it in the sense of ethnicity. I come from this ethnic group. Let's look at it as it's an African brand. Let's not just limit it to South Africa. Africa as a whole. Let's support African brands. You know, a lot of people are not getting this. Uh, I'm probably going to dive in deeper than I should. But if you as a person, let's say you have an establishment, this is your home. If you are living nice in this home and your neighbor is suffering, don't you think your neighbor is going to try and come and break in when you are not there? So let's take care of our brands and the brands of our neighbors, Africa as a whole.
Yeah, just to add on that, man. I feel like I'm gonna touch back on what I've said already, but I feel like the footprint is already there for us as South Africans and Africans in general to start now mimicking what the other first world countries like for like your China, because China, for instance, has mimicked what United States has done. They've mimicked that into becoming the so-called first power they are now. Because when you check how they they've increased their influence in Africa for instance, you won't see any big construction without any Chinese influence, for instance. So I feel like if we were to mimic that in terms of business wise and brand appreciation, like for instance you mentioned Omar Kosa, for instance, you see, if we were to not look at the brand and say, no, for an African brand, he's too expensive. That's what we use to devalue our South African geniuses that have come up with this product, because it's rare to come up with a product that is going to be an influence, that is going to have an impact in this stage, because we in Africa have this thing of seeing anything that is in America and all these first world countries, we see that as, oh, I want that, not looking at what we in Africa produce, so that we can make them in Africa in the first world countries to appreciate what we have here. You see.
Example in what you just said, bruh. Hey, the pricing, these people need to understand. But when you come with a product, you're coming with a solution for a particular problem in that particular area. You understand? So, but the people, your target market, it's black people, African. Africans are struggling, my guy. So you cannot just come here, cut teki, and then you're expecting me to pay over 2.5 for teki, which I can get at Mr. Price for $800. No, man, we need to be reasonable. So the people that are creating these brands also need to be reasonable to the people that actually want to buy that brand.
But also staying true to what you want the brand to be. For instance, if you want this brand to be a world competitor, you can't just start at a price that isn't true to the value and what goes to production and everything. Because at the same time, almost every one of us now is wearing something that is not, almost everything that is not from South Africa. We pay 2.5 for Jordans and everything. How about investing that in somebody that you know is creating jobs in your country? all the when it comes to manufacturing more factories, getting more factories and everything, just to keep the production local as much as we can before we can then go out and say,
I think we're gonna come back to this as more as more as the conversation is continuing. Yeah. So let's come here. I've been asked for each one of us on the couch today. Is South Africa going to make it? This is for everyone to take. Is South Africa going to make
I think from my side is I doubt South Africa is gonna make it with the current government which is running our country right now because everything is going down. Our infrastructure, the interest rate are going up through the roof, prices up, education soon education will drop like nothing we've ever seen before. I can say our education is crap right now. 30% pass rate is crap. Because right now I can tell you in varsity there's no 30%. To pass varsity you need 50%. And you can't pass varsity without that 50%. If you get even 49, forget it. You're gonna repeat that course or that module. So you need to get that sense of our youth needs to think out of the box. We need to pass above 50%. They can tell you all your grandmas or your uncles or whatever. My uncle used to tell me that there was no 80 or 40%. That was regarded as fail to them. Now you can qualify to go to varsity with 30%. I'm not judging that thing of going to varsity with 30%, but you must be prepared to study hard to get that 50% and pass with a higher mark. But the question is South Africa going to survive? My view is no. With the current government, I don't know which government should rule, but I doubt it should be the ANC.
Okay, so we're not gonna dive into politics, but which government, ANC, EFF, everything, because we're not fighting everyone. We're not fighting any political party. We're not fighting any individual. We are looking for solutions for our young people. This is youth in purpose. In purpose. So we are looking at solutions that can help our fellow South Africans. Gentlemen, what do you have to say on this matter?
For me, I think I agree with what Jackson is saying. Yeah? South Africa will not make it with the current government. But if all of that could change, South Africa could go somewhere. But at the same time, I do have hope in South Africa. Yeah, bro. I do have hope. I do have high hope in South Africa. Yeah, bro. And another thing is on this education thing. I think it's very low, man. Our education system, our education. What I can say, it's going to nothing because ngoku sesifundela abanye abantu bafunda nje. But no, I want to be somewhere. Not that I judge them. Yeah, bro. Ufumaniseka uba now you're just studying because you don't even know that doctor that you wanted to be while you were in grade 6, 7, grade R. You don't want to be a doctor now. Yeah, bro. Yeah, bro. You just want to get a job, ka? Yeah, bro. You just want to pass this matric. Alo 30% upasa ngayo. Like say your aim is just 30%. Because even now, if you write your exam, you're gonna be like, say, just 50%. It's fine. Yeah, bro. You're not thinking about, but okay, the 50% uzonisaphi, for instance. Yeah, bro. Yeah, bro. Uzonisaphi the 50%. So I think we need a very strong education system. We need a very strong government. And South Africa has a potential in a lot of things. It has a potential in a lot of things. I believe in it. And Hashem, I do love my country, but it should change how it's doing things right now. Yeah, well, it should really change how it's doing things right now.
yeah, bro. Yeah. when you talk about South Africa, man, it just saddens my heart, eh? Because when you look at South Africa and the current trajectory it's taking, it just makes your body shiver a bit, man. Because starting just basic stuff, education, just to touch on what you guys are saying, education, our education system is just, we're using a system that we don't necessarily understand where it originates from. Because, for instance, we're using a system that was used prior freedom now that we claim we have, right? So if we were to have people that will come with better ideas just to teach our youth, because our youth now, you come up with grade 12, the only thing you know is natural science, all those subjects you were taught in high school. We're not being taught to be independent thinkers, thinking outside the box and everything. So you only get that with students that are doing your maths and physics and all the subjects. But even there, you're not thought to be a thinker outside the box in terms of finding yourself and finding what things can I, what are actually my strong points. You understand? That's the whole idea of being in school. You have to be educated to the point where you feel like I know my strong points. Because at this stage, currently, I don't even know my strong points. I don't know my strong points. The only thing I know is that I have to study to get a better future. Starting from what? Starting from what is now the education system. It is really flawed, man. And this thing of 30% pass, it really doesn't work. Because when you come to varsity, and then that now causes stress for students. They don't understand where it comes. Yeah, everything changes. They have to kind of transition. They don't have a gap where they have to transition to getting back to, oh, I have to pass with 50%, getting into the real world, which causes a lot of dropouts in the end because they were not really prepared and actually trained to be mentally tough for varsity. That's where I think South Africa is failing. Politically, man, I don't want to touch in that, but I just feel like we need fresh ideas. We need new people, new minds, and fresher minds. This thing of cater deployment, it's really, it's not helping. We can see, man. You can. I just, yeah, but you know the situation in our country. It's just not promising at all.
Hey, this guy's already touched on a lot of points. Uh, my opinion in the fact in the question about is South Africa going to make it? We have the potential of making it, you know, but not with the current government. I mean, the government has already failed since 1994. How many terms have they had? What improvement have they brought? You know, the only thing that I can be proud of is that I can walk in town without a dome pass. You know, that's the only thing. I can drink in town. You understand? Yeah, but as for South Africa making it, we can if only we can change the current leadership. You know, the people that we have in power right now, they do not have ideas, man. You know, someone once said, I'm not going to mention their name. Someone once said, how can a person plan for a future in 2040 when they won't be? Because the people that are in power right now, people above 60. In 2040, do you honestly think those people will still be around? So how can a fossil plan a future for us? So you understand? If we can change the people that are leading us, there is hope for us. There is hope for us. Jumping into our education, you know, even when I was in high school, I knew that our education system was effed up. You know, because at the time that I was in high school, it was a time where cell phones, laptops, and everything was there. And yet, what I was taught in technology was how to create what is that thing? Is it a bridge? You understand? It's technology. It's technology, and yet you're teaching me about how to. Nigga, what? Come on, man. Come on, man. And then technology ends in grade 9. And yet we are moving into the fourth industrial revolution. We are moving into a world that it's nothing without technology. And yet our technology, the subject, ends in grade 9. Let's go into arts and culture. Arts and culture ends in grade 9. You see what I'm saying? There is a potential for us to make it. Are we going to make it? I don't know.
Wow, man, that's a good and how can I say a valid and relevant point that you made there. We do have potential, but are we gonna make it? We don't know. Yes. So okay, Jackson has something to say here.
I also should we should think about empowering ourselves because depending on government, we should forget it. All these grants are just giving us an opportunity to depend on the government only. Because if you have that set of mindset that you are thinking of getting 350, what's that? That should be a a crack hole to your head that 350 is nothing. Would you like it if I came to your home and gave you food every day? If I shut off the tap, what are you going to eat? Nothing. We shouldn't depend on government. We should create jobs that is going to supply me for a lifetime. By creating jobs, I'm simply saying you should start something, an idea. If it just comes into your mind, just do it.
Uh, I like your point. I really do. Let's not masingathatha government simbeke emthunzini Joe. Let's not excuse our government. Their role is to empower us, create jobs for us. You understand? There's a lot of people, young entrepreneurs with business ideas. We do not have capital, to put those plans and ideas into action. Where are we supposed to get that capital? We are a previously disadvantaged people. You understand? My parents don't have money. My parents didn't have money. You understand that? We do not have money. So we are relying on the government to supply us with funds to execute those plans that we have. Let's not excuse the government. And be like, yo man, you failed, man. Stay there. We're going to try and do it ourselves. No. We should say, but you failed. You need to move. We need to put in someone that is going to do what we need. You understand that? Okay. I think I said enough.
No, no, that's quite interesting. That's quite interesting. I think the conversation that we are having, it's taking us back to the next conversation that we're going to have right now about self acceptance, achieving goals, and happiness. So, looking at self acceptance, you have noted a code here, but it was taken from it's an Indian Bhagavad Gita. Do you know it? It's called Bhagavad whatever Gita. It's a Gita. So Christians have Bible and Indians have this thing called Gita. So it says it is better to live your own destiny imperfectly than to live an imitation of somebody else's life with perfection. You understand? So this code is gonna take us to self acceptance. So let's talk about self acceptance, gents.
Um, as an individual, before you can say, how can I put this? You can't accept other people's differences up until you accept yourself. Introspection, you know. When you look in the mirror, sometimes it's not, you don't like what you see. A lot of people go through that, a lot of people go through that. And my mentor once said, you need to radically accept the most, how did he put it? This is Dr. Jordan Peterson. You need to radically accept the most, how can I put it in my own words, the baddest situation you can encounter. You need to accept that. The worst side, you need to accept that, and Find a way to move forward. Because if you're gonna live in denial, man, like this is happening, but you don't want to accept it that it's happening to you, you're not gonna change the situation. That's the problem. That is where a lot of people find themselves nowadays. Accept it, learn from it, and let it work for you.
From my side, I can say if we're talking about self acceptance, it's pretty hard for men in particular. Because how can you accept yourself if the vision of women or social media brings a bad side of men? Because I can say men are struggling. I don't have the stats, but I can definitely tell you that men, the high rate of suicide is through the roof. You can see all around the streets, there is no woman who's going just like that, going mad, running naked or something. You can only see guys picking pennies or a guy who's navigating the parking lot for any man or woman just to get in, just to hustle. It's very hard for men to hustle around here. Thinking of going to high school, you're thinking of debt, loans, the background of your house. How is it? We know that even women go through that, but in particular to men, how can you respect yourself knowing that you're struggling with life? Social media views you as someone who is not depending, and women don't like you if you're broke. So you need to have money to hustle, all that stuff.
Yeah. I just want to jump in on what you're just saying about social media, man. And with regards to self acceptance, man, you just have to look at it in the sense of I'm here now and this is my life. Because with social media being so powerful and influential in our lives now, we find teenagers in particular committing suicide. People end up going into crime just to have to buy a few 5 seconds of that soft life, just to post pictures and say, okay, fine, now finally you've arrived. But I feel like people should get more educated about how should they in particular accept their situation, because if you are in a situation right now, you have to accept that, okay, fine, this is my life at the moment. What can I do to get there? Take that what you see from social media as inspiration of where you want to be someday, not in the sense of just taking it as it will demolish your spirit and demolish your not demolish you as a person, and demolishing your ego in a sense, because as people we have to have some little bit of ego here and there, man, just to yeah, just to keep in touch with people and everything, man. And I feel like, yeah, we need to get people rid of the thing of what they see on social media is what is really happening, because they people just book houses, for instance, just for a few, and there's this thing now of photoshopping. If you can't afford it, just photoshop for a sec, man. Don't let that pressure put you into doing things that they're not really you and define you as a person. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say.
I appreciate what you just said, man. True. Uh, what I would like people to understand is that social media is a lie. You understand? Okay, it's not really a lie, but it's it's a fraction of a person's life. It's not their whole entire life. You know, most people, teenagers nowadays, they look at social media and they, yo, this person has arrived. They're living like this 24/7. No, they're not living like that 24/7. You know, it's a particular point in their life. You know, leave that. Accept your situation. You are here. You will never be here. You are here right now to accept your situation. Yeah, move forward from that. You know, uh, I think I touched on this a while back when I said, but you can't love someone without loving yourself. You understand that? So you need to, with the situation that you're in right now, try and find the best way to maneuver yourself to live the best life. Kobe, okay, let me put it this way in Kobe Bryant's words, that you need to dance in the best way you can in your own box. The minute you start comparing your life to someone else's life, that is when you get that fucked up mentality, and then people start killing themselves. I mean, for instance, there's a lot of people in their early 20s. They're looking and envying the life of a person in their early 30s. You understand that? That person has been through what you are starting right now. They've achieved. And when you want that life now, and then simply because you're not living that life now, you're like, maybe I'm not gonna get there. Let me take my own life. Nah.
Hey man, just a moment. I just want to touch on what you're saying now. This thing of wanting the end goal now, wanting to arrive at success now. It goes back to what you touched about. You saying setting goals and achieving them. You've got to fall in love with the process, man. Because if you don't enjoy the process while it lasts, you when you get there, then what next, man? What next? You haven't really fallen in love with the process of getting there. Because at the same time, if all you just have to do is stay true to who you are and how you can maneuver the situation and the current position you're in to get there. Because at the end of the day, if you stick to your set goals, along the way you are going to chop and change a few because you have to adapt to that particular situation at hand, but knowing that you will arrive there is what matters, not this thing of feeling that pressure. Because now if I were to see, for instance, a friend of mine who's already doing these things, most of them are into trading and all these things. They get those easy money easy, but I'm not into it. I'm not a trading guy. I don't have that psyche. I don't have it in me. Yeah, I understand. I have to fall in love with my process. It is individual because I am my own person. If I want to be independent in that sense, because that's what leads to us now having to be dependent on friends, being dependent on other people who will actually lead us to buying this fake life, and sustaining it isn't easy, man. Isn't I said sustaining it isn't easy at all, man. And I just feel like people should just take time and appreciate how long it takes for you to get there. That's all that matters, right? Because at the end of the day, we are going to reach there. That's my two of it.
I think to add on what you guys are saying about the social media thing, the pressure. I think I think a lot of people, ne, they 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 can't accept how difficult it is to get where you want to be. A lot of people don't understand that. So gangogo, londo, it causes. Okay, let me not say that, but to what's the word? Okay, let me make it simple. Let me just make it simple. A lot of people, ne, they are feeling a lot of pressure because then they haven't accepted who they are. For instance, like what you guys just said. Yabo. For instance, mna, ne, I know what type of a person I am. Ne? That's where it all starts. Ne? You have to understand the type of person you are, and then ke ngoku, you'll see how you maneuver whatever is happening around you. Yabo. For instance, if mhlambe, let's say Upuhle is doing something, that doesn't mean that I should do it. For instance, if maybe let's say Upuhle, I see that he's making it in trading, or he's making it on Betway, or whatever, just to make something. Yabo, that doesn't mean mna ndizoyenza because he yabo. Yabo. It doesn't mean londo. So what I'm trying to say is it's better when you stay in your own lane. Yabo. Stay in your own lane. Like for instance, you see when you're driving, for instance, you in South Africa you keep left, you pass right, and you stick to your lane. You only pass when you have to. You go to the left when you have to, and then come back to the right. Yabo, and stick that. It's the only place, in the road. It's the only place where people stick to their own lane. Yabo, our focus, yabo, yabo, why can't people apply that in life? I think we should apply that in life. Staying in your own lane and not feel the pressure of social media and stuff and yonke nje. all of that. I'm not saying it's not going to be there, but it's good to know what you want, to face to focus on your dreams and what you actually want to achieve. And another thing that's I think it's very important while while you're on the process of achieving your dreams. I feel like before you get there, I feel like this you should also celebrate the small wins. You know, like for instance, if mhlambi you have a plan, but okay, these are the things that I want to do, or mhlambi in order to get where I want to be, these are the things that I'm gonna go through. You should first understand, Lord, about these are the things that I'm gonna go through, and then in the process of those things, what do I wanna achieve? Able in all those achievements, at least celebrate it. But okay, no, I've made it here. So what's the next step now? Able.
In order for you to do that, in order for you to celebrate your small wins, you need to write down your plans. Write your plans down. You understand? So that you can go back and tick, but I achieved this. You know, the satisfaction in ticking it off, but I wrote this down and I actually did it. Those small victories, you have the bigger picture in the end, but this is where I'm going. But yeah, they do matter, because they give you that little extra motivation. Like, oh man, as hard as it is, man, if I got that done, I can get this done. And then if I get this done, I can get that done, and then you're moving forward. That's how you progress.
Um, what I can say is, most of us, let's face the facts. When it comes to South Africans, we don't like to plan. We only plan for our funeral. We need to face the facts. We only plan for our funeral. We don't plan for our kids' future, our children, our children's children, our grandchildren. Only plan for our funeral. And mothers come, auntie, sisters come during the state funeral. When it comes to nursing that child or telling him the views of how life it is, how hard it is in life, they back off.
On this planning thing, I think another thing that we have to plan or we have to work on is this thing of the understanding that the pregnancy thing. Yes, pregnancy thing. You know, I feel like Yabona, I've once experienced in the Yoba. I was asked once, but I don't have a child. I was asked once, but like say, why don't you have your child, but your peers have a child? And I was like, I, I'm still young. Yeah, but it's not part of my plans. It's because I know what I want to do. For instance, yeah, but I know what. So I don't want to make that mistake of having it. Go, yeah, but and again, I'm not judging the people that have children already. Yeah, but yeah, at least plan it and then yeah, but okay, you're not gonna depend on someone alone though. Yeah, but okay, if maybe yeah, but okay, it happened, there's nothing you can do about it, then at least there should be someone that's helping you with that. Yeah,
That's interesting. In life, you don't what? Wow, that's interesting, man. I think, by the way, Sundowns is losing there to not. So, so Super Sport is dealing with them. There. You, it's Robert there. It's Maseko. Who scored now? I think it's Maseko Robert. They just scored. Yeah, so it's Friday evening with the Amajita guys. So also, yeah, keep it on hand with soccer. Yeah, yeah, it's part of us. So no, no, it's not coming. Relax. So, what is happening here is for us to close down the issue of self acceptance, achieving goals and happiness. On self acceptance, there's a quote that I'm gonna quote right now. It's by it's a sociologist uh, by the name of Kule. He says, "Today I am not who I think I am, and today I am not who. Today I'm not who I think I am, and today I am not who I think you think about me. But today is but today I am who I think you think I am. So, for an example, right now, if I want, if I think you think I'm smart, I'll suddenly start to feel smart. So, yes, it's a perception of another perception of yourself. You understand? So if now I like a girl and I think that girl wants or the view of that girl on me is that how can I put this? But if I like someone, right, and I think that person have a perception of myself of being a dumb person of some kind, I'll try to actually advance myself or extend myself to another standard that I don't match because I think that person think in a certain way about me. So I'm not basing myself. There's a reason why it's called self worth, right? Because you and only you can define it yourself. So, what we need to know about this self acceptance is that what I can say about self acceptance is that accepting yourself is worship on its own. And what do I mean? Accepting yourself is worship. When you accept who you are, you acknowledge your creator. So when if for an example now I start to renounce myself or to deny myself, understand? I'm saying that the designer who designed, look at how nature is beautiful, human being a part of it, is actually not creative enough or it made an error when it comes to me. But when you accept yourself, you are worshiping, you are giving worship to your creator. Even if you're not a spiritual person, but your creator, we can take you back to your parents. You understand? You have to understand, even if you were at some point, there are people who says I was conceived in a mistake. I don't think there is a mistake. There is no mistake. You are conceived for a particular reason. And when you accept yourself, there's power in accepting yourself. You cannot walk in this arena of life without accepting yourself. It's just quite impossible because what you're gonna do is you're gonna live an imitation of other people's life, and you haven't even lived yourself. There are people who died without even having lived. They lived according to the social norms, the social constraints. Understand? So more, you have something to say.
Man, it just came to me and I thought about it that, you know, I think as an individual, you don't have to accept your present self, you know, but you need to accept the fact that you can be better than what you are right now. You know, you know, by accepting let's say, accepted who I am, it means, but I'm okay with where I am, you know. But you need to accept the fact that you're not the best version of yourself. You can do better, and then put in the work.
Yeah, it's just in this thing of self acceptance and appreciating yourself and who, yeah. And then with regards to self acceptance and just appreciating yourself and who you are for who you are really, I feel like yeah, as a closer to touch on that tribal thingy again a bit, and as a closer guy, I have an appreciation of myself because I feel like I appreciate my ancestors more for everything I achieve in life and everything because I take it that I originate from my ancestors because that's how it is. I am an offspring. I come from the just in the history tree of Abokebane and all that when it goes to who I come from. And I just feel like when it comes to that, yeah, you have to just appreciate yourself and be spiritual as you can about. I, for instance, believe in both. I believe in both the Lord, the Creator, and I also believe in my ancestors because I feel like that's where I got everything from. I have now from, because they are what protects me, and you should, bruh. You should, because I mean, those guys of it, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Even the Bible says about God uzasikelela lesizukulwana sakho.
Yeah,
So
so
mina as isizukulwana I'm blessed ngenxa yesinyanya sami. So you gotta believe in that.
so hence I say, yeah, if you just appreciate yourself more, man, and see the value that they've put in you, the value that the creators and the ones that you take the genes from have really structured you to be, and the character you possess and everything. It just doesn't happen for no reason, man. I feel like everything has a reason. It serves a purpose in whatever particular way you may look at it.
Yeah, man. I think with regards to this, we have spoken quite a lot, and we we shouldn't actually be talking about this. About, hey, guy, accept yourself, accept who you are, and everything. This thing is supposed to be defined by yourself. You need to define it yourself about what does self acceptance mean to you. It's subjective, it's personal, it's who you are. And accepting yourself, we don't mean, you know, accepting yourself, we don't mean that accept the comfortable part of yourself only. Umo said this, that you also need to embrace the uncomfortable part of yourself. There is that part of you where you are not kind about it, and you need to be kind and love that part of yourself. And when you start doing that, your you someone said true confidence, it's knowing what you're good at and what you're not good at. That's true confidence. So when you know you're good at something, you are weak on this, then you become confident. You approach life knowing exactly who you are. You are aware of who you are. So yeah, I think we have spoken a lot on this one. So we're gonna jump on the last topic. Yeah, yeah, spirituality, witchcraft. Understand? We are Africans, man. We cannot run away from this. I'm a Christian myself, but I cannot run away from the fact that witchcraft is there. I cannot run away from the fact that spirituality per se, it's key to success, be it academical, be it economical, be it personal. We need personal. I mean, like spirituality plays an important role where you connect yourself with uh with who you are in terms of where you're coming from. Africans believe that uh, their ancestors are a key to their prosperous or their luxurious or rather say of living a good life. It's a key. That's spirituality for you. So Christianity believes that there's a scripture in the Bible which says, acknowledge God in all your ways, and He will establish all those ways for you." So let's talk about spirituality. Let's talk about witchcraft and how is it a barrier to our success, and how is it a barrier to our academic um, breakthrough. Yeah, yeah. Life is a whole. Yeah.
What I can say is, to start off, I can say I'm an atheist because I don't believe in God or witchcraft. But I can say that's my English side. On my African side, I can say it's not that I don't believe it, I just haven't seen it before. But all that I was taught is witchcraft is real. This they say like your parents tell you that your neighbor is doing some sort of stuff, some witchcraft, incantation, all that stuff. And you start to believe it at a young age. They tell you don't go right there, all that stuff, and you start to reason like how is it that they do witchcraft that I don't see it? But I can say we as African use that sort of mentality of witchcraft and implement it as a hate speech to other Africans. Just that your mother had an argument with your neighbor and she starts to say, "Ah, you're a lawyer." You can see that affects a child also, because if she had that fight, it shouldn't affect the whole family. You had a fight with that neighbor. It shouldn't come between the whole family. If it's like a sort of law matter, that can be sorted in the court case or something like that. But it shouldn't affect the family. You just can't go to a child and tell that the child that your neighbor is doing witchcraft. That's unreasonable. Itself, that's witchcraft.
Let's hear what other gentlemen have to say. Seems like there are a lot of opinions here.
Um, my take on this topic is, on my side, ne, I do believe in God, and I do believe there is witchcraft. There are demons, whatever. Yabo. Because I think I do believe in these things because I've seen a lot of things happen. Yabo. Weird stuff. Ufumaniseka uba, yes, ufumaniseka uba you're gonna tell me about something since you've told me, and then I'm gonna notice it. But man, this was what Silence was talking about, yabo. And then you find that le nto ayithethayo Silence is that, I mean Jackson, is that when umama wakho had an argument with your neighbor, mhlambe athi no uyaloya, ndizombona eloya, and andizoyithanda loo nto, yabo, because every time when I see her andizobona umuntu oloyayo, yabo. Everything that everything, I just won't like her, yabo. So when it comes to the to the Bible side, to the God side, I do believe in God a lot because I feel like ugogo wam was a praying person, yabona, and she believed in God kakhulu. So I feel like I took that from her, even though I don't go to church, I don't read the Bible, but I know what's happening in the Bible. I know what the Bible is, and I do pray. I believe in prayer, and I do believe in my ancestors. You know, I believe in both of those things. Yabo. Witchcraft and every other things, there's born and just sense of people, they are flying people. These are the things that we are being told every day. I've never seen a flying person. I've never seen what's this? It's Tunzela, is a way. I've never seen the, but yes, I'm a boys, the snakes, but those are the things that are happening. Those are the things that are happening, guys. You know, so I feel like even for young people, for young people, I feel like it's sometimes I feel like young people believe in a lot of things, and again, Lando, it affects us in a sense, yoba, uba mhlambe, let's say, um, that thing, it affects us a lot because if let's say, for instance, you are studying, yabo, and then you find difficulties or whatsoever. If mhlambe you find that you can't study in your room, mhlambe uzothi umuntu uyaloya sometimes. Hayi bo, why can't I study in my room? Yabo. Why can't you just take a break? Mhlambe it's your mind, it's tired. Just take a break, go out, come back, study again. Yabo. Why do I have to, like, no, I ain't a lawyer, yabo, or whatsoever?
Hey man, you see, when it comes to witchcraft and everything, it just it's a very complex topic, man. Because there's as an African, I do believe there's witchcraft, but also we kind of have to also take be cognizant of the fact that there is also dementia involved, because we in our society, you see that most of the people that are accused of being of performing witchcraft, for instance, are our elderly people. They are the people that society then says, look at that elderly woman. She has no family now. They have already, maybe, let's say for instance, her family has passed away, and then they'll say, she's a witch. She's doing all these things. Yeah, not knowing that as they grow, as they age, there is also that thing of the mind degenerating a bit, which causes dementia. Which in when you go to ekasi and seeing ugogo going around 12, angazazi ukuthi uyaphi, not knowing where they're going because maybe like in the rural areas, the toilet, the bathroom, which is the bathroom, is usually outside. Now, when she's going, let's say around 11 to the bathroom, and when she comes back, akazazi ukuthi bengenephi. She doesn't know where she entered. She's just going round and round, and then you say that person is a witch and all those things. That in particular, the case of dementia, it needs to be taught more in our society. So it's those people to accept people that are doing things that are out of the ordinary. Because in our cultures, in our societies, we sort of determine which roles each and every person should be playing, in the sense of, you should be doing this if you are within this age group. You should be doing this with your life, and that and that and the other. If you're not doing that, then they claim that, oh, utagati and all those things. But witchcraft, in the essence of being an African, it does exist, my guy. It really does. Go to Eslali in the rural Eastern Cape, my guy. You will see what I'm telling you about. You see, us now being in Cape Town and going back to Eslali, you come back with, oh, they say you're lucky. And with witchcraft, it's more basically about the evil spirits claiming your fortunes, meaning everything that was good that was meant to come your way, they are sort of interrupting and being the barrier between you and success. And you might find it in situations where you feel like, oh, I want to study now. I want to do this. You wanna every time you have a progressive mind, a progressive thought, then all of a sudden your there comes a thought that just opposing what you've already thought, and you just like, okay, let me go with that. That in its sense is witchcraft, my guy. Because yeah, a lot of these things happen, man. I can't find a particular example that I would discuss on the podcast, but yeah, witchcraft does exist, my guy. It really does. It really.
Uh, I think I'm only going to cement on what the guys are already saying. Let me start off with diving into this topic. I'm only going to speak based on my experiences. You understand? God exists. He is there. You understand? Uh, I don't blame people that say they don't believe in, because you only believe in something once it happens to you. Other people believe it when they see it happening to someone else, and then it happens to them. Like, I, for instance, when it comes to the Christian religion, a lot of people that know me, they know where I stand with the religion itself. A lot of people know where I stood when it comes to the protagonist of the book, the Bible. Protagonist is Jesus. You won't know that guy up until he takes your cross and carries it for you. You understand that? So I can try and explain it to someone else and say, "Oh man, Jesus is real. God is real." Up until you see it happening to you, then you're not gonna believe it. Going to witchcraft. Again, I'm speaking based on my experiences. Let's start off with the fact that witchcraft depends on how you define it. You understand? Witchcraft can be that voodoo magic. Witchcraft can also be you. I'm telling you as my friend, but yo, dog, I just got accepted at this job, Joe. I got a job. And deep inside, you're like, what the fuck? Why is it not happening to me? That's witchcraft. You understand? Witchcraft can also be self-inflicted. You know that? In a sense, you can't go and write an exam without studying and expect to pass. That is witchcraft. That is self-sabotage. You understand that? You know, you can plant a seed, but if you don't water that seed, it's not going to grow. You understand? When we're diving into that voodoo stuff, I'm a Tembu guy. I was born in Stakespruit, in the Eastern Cape, in a village called Epepes. Those that come from Stakespruit, they know that witchcraft does exist. I've experienced it. I'm not gonna jump into much details about it, but as a temple person, you already know. But I went to initiation school, and yeah, I saw it happen. I saw witchcraft happen. So I know that firsthand. But now, to another person, it's not gonna be easy for another person to simply take my word as gospel when I tell them, but I saw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 happening there. The person that wasn't there is gonna be like, I'm gonna take that with a pinch of salt. Up until you experience it. So it does exist. I just hope a lot of people are not ignorant enough to think, but yeah, no, I'm just living my life. There's no such thing as that side. There is that side to life, and it will affect you. It will affect you.
No, you heard our fellow audience. We thank you very much today for being patient with us. It was quite an interesting conversation today that we had with Amajita. So we are not ending the conversation, but we are ending the episode today. So that was it. The second episode of Friday Evening with Amajita. We appreciate you. We thank you very much. Jackson Kruger, we thank you. Zolani, we thank you. Kushle, we thank you very much. Bramo, thank you very much. We appreciate you. So see you guys on our third episode of Youth in Purpose, Friday Evening with Amajita. This is Silence and Loud Silence to God. Big up. Oh, yes, something to say, Jackson.
Subscribe, comment, and share. Don't forget to subscribe.